It's your boy, Coach Defense here. Thanking you for supporting the channel. Become a lockdown defender by hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you're enjoying your time, hit that like button. Help us grow in the community. Now check out our latest video. Leave a comment. And as always, you got to step up to lock it down. Biggest headlines of the week. We'll start with the biggest and most glaring one for me. Are the Vikings for real? I already know where you stand with that. But what I need
do I need to say it? Do I need to say it, sir?
No.
Okay.
What I need from you though is context of why you think the Vikings are for real.
Well, starting first with where you give credit and credence to Kevin O'Connell. Right now, he's in his bag. Right.
Very much so.
He's in his bag. Sometimes
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, Louis Vuitton,
yeah,
Chanel,
Prada,
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right. He's in his bag right now. He's dialing up effective plays right now. He has the weapons. Jordan Jefferson is back healthy. Jordan Addison is there. The running game is sufficient enough.
Mm-hmm.
He has
TJ
Darnold.
Great comeback.
TJ Hawkinson's getting ready to come back. Mm-hmm. He has Darnold dialed in. And again,
one of the best O-lines in the league, too, by the way. Let's not undersell that.
Yes. Sam Darnold's making great throws that keeps them in the positive. And then here's the other thing. Brian Flores is dialing up a defense that we thought would be bottom basement at best. And he's got them looking like wild men right now.
Can I give you a quick hot take real quick?
Yep.
I think that Brian Flores might deserve more credit for the job he's doing with that defense.
Oh, yeah.
Is what Cliff Kingsbury's doing, because Cliff Kingsbury's dealing with one of the best O-lines, 3 good receivers, get a Pro Bowl tight end back, a very good, ex-Pro Bowl running back, and was looking like a competent quarterback in Sam Darnold. So he has way more to work with in this tool bag than Flores does.
You mean Kevin O'Connell?
I'm sorry.
You said Kingsbury.
I said Kingsbury. I'm sorry. Kevin O'Connell. Yeah. Kevin O'Connell does. Yeah. So yes. I think Kevin O'Connell's working with a lot more in his tool bag than Brian Flores is. Because I'm looking at this defense. I mean, you got, for the love of God, you got Jerry Tillery playing DN for you. You got Harrison Phillips in the middle. You got Jonathan Bullard and Jonathan Greenyard playing the ends. Ivan Pace, I like Ivan Pace as a prospect last year, but yet again, he's undersized. He's like a 5'11", 6 foot, linebacker. Blake Cashman, who's been bouncing around. Got Stephon Gilmore in the house. Him and Shaq Griffin seem to be holding down the corners pretty well. Harrison Smith and Karen Bynum. I like their secondary. Secondary's not bad, but their front seven is, outside of Dallas Turner, is not nothing to ring home about. And he's locking everybody down. Right. I mean, confusion. I mean, CJ Stroud and I think one other quarterback that they faced said that they just didn't know what they were looking at. It was that much confusion going on that they just didn't understand what they were trying to do to them and didn't know where the pressure was coming from.
Right.
Coaching. That's coaching.
All day.
Yeah. So
Brian Flores, definitely, because here's the crazy part. If you go and look at this defense this time last year, they were laughable.
Very much so. And Flores was coaching that defense, and he was very void of talent in that space too. So what a year, what a difference a year makes.
What a year. What a difference a year makes. So the Vikings right now are definitely for real.
Yeah, and they're fourth in points scored behind the 3 we named earlier. So yeah, kudos to Brian Flores, man, for sure. Yeah. I'm still on the fence.
I knew it.
I'm still on the fence, but I'm leaning it's one of those things where I got my feet on the other side now. It's one thing to have your feet on the side if they're frauds. Then you standing up in the middle, and you don't know you can go either way. Now my feet is on the side where the Vikings are sitting. So I'm swinging my feet still, because again, everybody has that hit the wall moment in the league, right? You kind of go through these lulls where you have a bad game or bad games. And, the Vikings aren't immune to that. So I'm waiting for that part. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop in that space. But, outside of me having questions about whether or not Sam Darnold could elevate this team, to, make it a deep playoff run or not, I do believe that the coaching, for me is the most paramount thing. I think the coaching in this organization right now between the head coach and defensive coordinator are top notch.
Right.
I think they're getting the most juice they can out of this orange or lemon or whatever you want to call it. You know, I would say you got an orange on offense and lemon on defense because, like I said, you don't have a lot of players there, but you squeeze every bit of juice you can out of that and getting production. So I definitely agree that they are for real from a coaching standpoint. And listen, give Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell a medal for the job of coaching that they're doing in this particular stage of the game. But through 4 games, man, I definitely say that people should be looking over the shoulder saying, you know, they could run over us if we let them.
Yeah.
Huh? All right. So number 2, can the Commanders win a division?
Yes.
Yeah.
They definitely can.
Now the question is, you know, who would oppose them if we think since they're the top of the division at this moment through quarter of the season, you know, who could oppose them? Do you think the Eagles, the Giants, or the Cowboys could usurp them at any point?
If I had to guess anyone, it would be the Eagles. Could.
Okay.
That's, you know, I think the Cowboys are just dealing with too many injuries right now.
Yeah.
But if anybody could usurp them, it's going to be the Eagles. It's just, again, when will the real Eagles stand up?
That's a question. That is a large question. Like I said, we're gonna talk about them in a minute, but I'm just very interested to see what the potential or ceiling could be for these Commanders with Jaden Daniels, because again, we call Jaden Daniels being good, but we didn't call them leading the division after 4 games. This is definitely, you know, one of those things that kind of caught us off guard. So I was, you know, because I had them as a sneaky playoff team, but that was like we talking, you know, 6, 7 seed. I wasn't talking about being a division winner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, for right now is promising days ahead, and I've never seen Terry McLaurin look so happy in my life.
Like, it's been a long time, right?
I finally got a quarterback. I finally got one. Yeah, he's finally got a quarterback. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. Only thing I feel like the Achilles heel right now is that secondary. That secondary is going to be the death of them if they don't fix it. Like, they got a decent corner Sandstrom on one side, but St. Juice and Emmanuel Forbes are not it. If there isn't, we talk about trades for wide receivers. If there's a trade to be had for a corner at the deadline, if I'm the Commanders, I'm making it. Especially with the potential I could have to make a playoff run. I'm going out and getting myself a corner if I can afford it. You know, so again, you're not paying your quarterback nothing, not paying anybody of noteworthy this anything on money wise side of Terry McLaurin. So I'm going out and getting me a corner if I can do it.
Right.
If I can do it. So yeah, I would look for that. You know, the next few weeks. If anybody gets on the trade block. All right. So number 3, do the Titans and the Colts need a quarterback change?
The Titans, yes. Colts, no.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah. I think Anthony Richardson can be a very solid, productive quarterback. But some of the things that we knew are just coming to the surface to be true. If we look at it, technically he's a junior in college.
Yes. Yeah.
He started 1 year.
Yep.
He's right now on his technically 3rd year of playing college football.
And only had 4 games of NFL experience last year.
Yeah. So what are we expecting right now? Now, if you're wowed by the metrics, if you're wowed by the athleticism, okay. But if we're talking about play on the field, he's in his 3rd year of being a quarterback.
Yeah, and I get you want to have some grace in that moment. I get what you're saying, but my problem is this, and I'm gonna use a Madden analogy here. You know, people that play Madden, right? They're attributes for passers, right? You have short accuracy, you have medium accuracy, you have deep ball accuracy, right? Throw and run, throw power, right? You know, he has excellent, you know, high 90% out throw power. You know, he has, you know, I would give above average, probably in the high 80s throw and a run, right? And he has excellent, I will give him, you know, high 80s, you know, in deep ball accuracy. But the problem is that medium and that short accuracy is an issue. Like, that shit is like in the 60s.
Listen, if anybody's ever played Madden, you've probably acquired a quarterback that had 98 arm strength
Yeah.
and 64 accuracy.
Right. Right.
And you
Overall
knew
accuracy,
how,
and yeah,
yeah,
you can complete a 10-yard out or swing pass or curl route, but you can throw the ball deep, 67
yeah.
yards in the air and be accurate, right? So
You knew how frustrating that was to play with that type of quarterback.
right.
If you couldn't get a big play,
It was over.
talking about driving the field,
Right.
nah. And that's what I think Anthony Richards, like you said, when he's shown glimpses, they have been great.
Right.
But one of the things when he was coming out of school was his accuracy.
I
And
know,
so,
and I thought that would be cleaned up by now, but also you got to look at it from perspective that his arm has been hurt, so he ain't been able to throw either. So that's kind of hampered and hindered him. So I guess I can throw him a little bit of grace, but there's another part of it that I have an issue with, right? I think that he not only has issues with his accuracy, which is a no-no in the league right now. Especially where defensive backs are, and pass rusher is, but I also think he's playing the game too fast. I think that his game is coming at him too fast. I think he's trying to make split decisions and he's making the wrong ones because
yeah,
he's not protecting himself. He's not sliding and getting down and not taking these big hits, which is ironically because you're 250 pounds, man, does not mean you got to go run against the wall every single time. It does not mean that.
right.
So, him, putting his body at risk, putting his body in harm's way and getting hurt repeatedly is an issue. Again, you can't stay on the field. You can't fix your accuracy and your speed of the game on the sideline.
No.
So
Best ability is availability.
right. So, for me, I think for the fact that he's been sped up to me and the fact that he has these accuracy issues, I would sit him down for a second because I have Joe Flacco. And I think they got Joe Flacco for a reason. I think if things went off the rails with him, they could go put Joe Flacco in and not tank the season. So I think that they might go with him for a few games, maybe the season. Let Anthony work his issues out with his accuracy and kind of see the game from a mentee role from Joe Flacco under Joe Flacco and kind of get the jitters out and maybe he can play at a different pace and speed because again. Let's take Lamar Jackson, for instance. Lamar is one of the, fastest, most elusive dual threat quarterbacks ever to play the game, but the game has never looked too fast with Lamar. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, he has to slow down. He has to be able to, make the game, not run so fast paced and it's running like he's running a NASCAR race in his head. I think that's the problem. So I think he could benefit from a slight benching for my money. But again, it all depends on his health because he has a hip pointer right now. So if he does have to sit, I would consider sitting him for a few games just to see if he get his mind back right and let Shane Steichen work with him. And hopefully that can fix things, permanently. But we'll see. For the Titans, I'm right there with you. I think Will Levis needs to sit. Period. I think that Mason Rudolph looked much better in the game against the Dolphins than he ever did, which is not saying much, but I mean he gives you a better chance to win ball games. I definitely think that should be a thing. But again, that's what Brian Callahan said that as long as he's healthy, he's our starter. Yeah, I mean you write your own death certificate if you want to, but I just don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the guy. That's me. But last but not least, number 4, are the Steelers a fraudulent 3-1?
That will require me to doubt Mike Tomlin, and I'm not doing that. I don't think they're fraudulent.
Let me quantify what I mean by fraudulent. It means that because they're 3-1, they're in at the top of the division. Do you think that's sustainable and can they be a threat in the AFC?
I think they can be. Again, we have to qualify threat, right? And the reason why I'm saying that because threat to play certain teams and upset them.
Can they beat the Ravens? Can they beat the Chiefs?
Yes.
They can beat any of those teams.
They could beat any of those teams.
I don't believe they can.
I wouldn't have them as Super Bowl contenders right now, right? But if you're asking me on a day, can they take advantage of the situation and come out with the win? I would say yes. They are they are contenders in that way, namely because of that defense. And if the football bounces right, Fields' mobility can be leveraged. So, I don't think they're a fraudulent 3-1. I know other teams, we've seen, i.e., 2023, 2024 Eagles that were 10-1. That was a fraudulent 10-1.
I definitely agree with that. But I still believe that they're fraudulent in a different way. I think they can only win by one method, and that's playing lights out defense. And quite frankly, and quite honestly, when you go up against these very savvy and very intelligent play callers, your Bobby Slowicks, your Andy Reeds, your Joe Brady's,
Right.
the guys, even for his. Oh, we browbeat him a lot, but our boy in Baltimore, what's his name? Guy came from Georgia. Why his name escaping me?
Munkin.
Yeah. So when you go against those guys, and they know how to proficiently move the ball, despite the fact that you have a good defense, that's where things can go off the rails for me.
Right.
If you can't win a 16-10 game, every week, then I think there's limitations there for me. So I think that when you go up against the upper echelon, your Houstons, your Kansas Cities, your Buffaloes, your Baltimores, I think that they'll struggle. It's again, especially when if you can find a way to, because they just lost Highsmith. Injuries play a factor in it too. They lost Highsmith. They lost their right guard last Sunday. So you're missing a left guard and a right guard, and you're missing your other edge rusher. So if I can just take care of TJ Watt, keep him from wrecking my game, then because I'll be honest, just speaking from the Chargers perspective, had we not been injured, I really feel like we was in that game, we could have beat them 2 weeks ago. So and that's a team that's rebuilding. So if you get a team that's got better talent on the opposite side of the ball, and you take care of TJ, I think they're very beatable. So I'm not sold yet. I love Mike, and I think they will be very tough out defensively, but offense scares me because they don't support the defense well enough. And I think the longer the season goes, the defense has to play a lot of minutes because the offense is not moving the ball. They'll wear down. They'll get injured. They'll get tired, and they'll start to give up points. And that's always the case when you have a team that doesn't run a good offense but has an elite defense.
Gotcha.
Huh? All right. So that's it for week 4. So we'll see what week 5 brings. We'll get some bye weeks, so maybe we'll get some normalcy.
Yes.
This week.